What's good, y'all? It's Ali back at it again with another YouTube video in which I give you guys mental models you can use to become extremely successful and accomplish all the goals you are after. So let's get right into it. So today I'm talking about rush, because a lot of y'all are in a super fucking rush to achieve your goals. And I understand the desire, I understand you want to win, and I like that shit. But the problem is this causes you to make a lot of dumb mistakes that you could easily avoid if you just don't rush. If you give yourself the time to win, you can guarantee you win. But if you're constantly rushing, you're going to fuck up a lot. And it's actually going to set you back hella steps rather than push you hella steps ahead. But what do I mean by rush in the context of you achieving your goals? Because obviously that's why you niggas are here. Like, I want to understand how to not do this shit. Well, what it means is listening to the expectations of others. Okay. So the primary reason why a lot of us fucking rush all the time is because we care too much about what other niggas think. We just care too much. Whenever we're trying to make decisions or make moves, we're like, okay, what's my parents gonna think? What's my niggas who are currently around me gonna think? What's society gonna think? We're constantly weighing all these other outside expectations. And for that reason, it affects how we decide to set our goals, right? We're like, well, everybody is winning so fast. I'm looking on Instagram. Niggas already have fast cars, millions of dollars that they're flexing. Bro, I got to become a millionaire tomorrow. It's got to happen tomorrow. But the thing is, when you set that kind of shitty ass expectation because you're rushing, you guarantee that you never fucking win. Why? Because you're never giving yourself the amount of time that it takes to gain the skills and capabilities to become a millionaire. Understand? So you can't afford to listen to the expectations of others because most people, first, have shitty ass fucking expectations. Most people are very mediocre. Most men live horrible lives, don't control their lives at fucking all. So if you're listening, it's not even just men, women, whatever. Just generally most people in society, everybody's pretty shit. Most people live shitty lives that I don't want any of you guys watching this to live. I want you guys to live exceptional lives, lives that you love to live, that you're excited to wake up every single fucking day to go super hard. So if you're listening to the expectations of those who are mediocre, what's going to happen? You're going to stay mediocre too, because poor people love to set expectations of, I need to be a millionaire by tomorrow, because they don't understand that it's the skills and capabilities that give you the $1 million, not you just wanting it to happen fucking fast, which is why you need to get rid of the expectations of others from your head, because that's usually why you're fucking rushing. So that brings us into the actionable step here, which is stop caring. You need to not give a fuck about what other people think. This is very expensive. Caring about the opinions of other people is the most expensive bill you will ever pay in your life. And quite honestly, there's no fucking return for it. Because when you listen to what everybody thinks, when you accept the expectations of other people into your mind, all you end up doing is living by other people's terms. You end up achieving other people's goals for your life. But you know what that also means? That means your goals die. They have to die when you listen to other people. And I don't want your guys' goals to die. I want you guys to reach the peak of your power, the peak of your masculinity in the way that you want to. So you have to stop giving a fuck. And like I always say on this channel, everything worth having in life must be worked for. So you're like, okay, how do I stop caring? Well, you have to train yourself every single time now on that you are making a decision that involves your goals. Make sure when you're setting your timelines or whatever, you're like, okay, am I thinking about anybody else when I'm making this decision? Is this the timeline that I want to set for myself? Is this the timeline that I like? If I say, hey, I want to lose this amount of pounds by the end of the month, am I doing this because this is how I want it to be? Or is it because of pressure from my parents or pressure from society or the niggas who are currently around me? You got to make sure, no, I don't give a fuck about anybody else's opinions. And if you notice that you do, and it's usually a specific person, right? It's never usually, it's like either your mom specifically or your dad specifically, or that one nigga from your high school specifically that is controlling the decision that you're making. You have to be willing to disappoint them. If you're not willing to disappoint anyone, you will never become anyone. I'll say that again. If you're not willing to disappoint anyone, you will never become anyone. So you have to find that person that's in your mind right now that you think of whenever you're constructing your goals or your timelines and be like, nope, I don't give a fuck. I have to disappoint them. Because if you're not willing to disappoint them, that means they have control over your life. So when you have that feeling, when you're setting your goal, you're like, I'm thinking about this one guy or whatever. You have to be like, I don't give a fuck. This is how I want to set my goal. And then once you do this once, you're like, okay, I got a feel for that. The muscle is now active. So now when it happens again, you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, to the point that what happens? You just stop caring. Now you don't care. Now this means you can always set your goals on your terms. And more specifically, you can set timelines in ways that you guarantee you can actually achieve your goals. You don't have to do, I need to be a millionaire by tomorrow. You can set your timeline in a way where you guarantee that you win, because there's only upside to doing that, guys. There's only downside to rushing, guys. When you don't give yourself enough time to achieve a goal, you guarantee that you never achieve it. If you keep being like, I need to have $1 million tomorrow, what happens? You never get the $1 million by tomorrow unless you do something ridiculously risky that risks your life, and you probably still won't even get the money or be able to keep the money, because when you're making money that fast, you're probably gonna go to fucking jail. The Fed's gonna be on your ass. It's gonna be on some FBI open up. You know what I mean? That shit. You're gonna be on that, right? So you have to be in this position where, okay, I don't want to keep playing the same game over and over again with a shit timeline that ensures that I never achieve my goal. You can now shift the timeline the way that you want to. In fact, you'd want to shift the timeline in a way where you give yourself more than enough time. Why? Because there's only upside to that. If you're like, no, I don't need to have $1 million by tomorrow. Let me give myself 11 years. I know that might not be real for you guys right now in your minds. Like, 11 years, nigga, what the fuck? But hear me out. If you give yourself 11 years, it's like, oh, okay, now I can plan. Now I can strategize. Now I can study the skills that I need. Now I can practice the skills that I need. And as I gain these skills and gain these experiences, now I can make better moves and make more money, because my timeline is so long, because I'm giving myself more than enough time. I'm giving myself more than enough time. Now that you have more than enough time, the likelihood that you achieve your goal is high, because with this time, you're able to actually get the skills and capabilities you need at the level that you need it to be to achieve the goal, to then have the money that you want. There's only upside there. And you know what's even funnier? Let's say at the end of the 11 years, you don't even have the $1 million, right? You're more than likely going to be very fucking close already. So what? Maybe you have to give yourself another year, another 2 years, but you're going to be pretty damn close already. Because it's not going to matter if you reach the 11th year, you don't have the money. Okay, what happens next? What are you going to do? Give up? Are you a retard? No. You're going to be like, okay, let me just keep going. Let me just give myself 5 more years now. Boom. You're eventually going to make the money because you're giving yourself the time. You're actually giving yourself a chance. This even works with other things too. In the same way that you always want to give yourself time to prepare before a performance, because there's only upside to doing so and no downside. There's no downside to preparation, but there is always downside to not preparing. Because if you don't prepare for something that you need to perform for, what ends up happening? You have a shitty performance, which isn't fucking good. But if you always give yourself time to prepare, what happens? You guarantee that you're more than likely going to have a high level or great performance because you gave yourself the time. And all you did was be like, let me just give myself more time. So the same is the case with, okay, I want to achieve this goal. I really care about this goal because that's what matters in the end. It doesn't matter how fast you do the shit. It matters if you get the goal. That's what you're in it for. When you think about the goal, you think about what you want. You think about the outcome. So you want the outcome. Who cares if it's going to take a month, a week, 11 years or whatever? You want the outcome. That's how we're playing the game here. So if you're setting your timelines really short, you just guarantee that you're never going to get the thing that you want, which is extreme, the worst downside. You don't get what you want. But if you keep giving yourself more than enough time, it's always extreme upside there because you give yourself enough time. Like, it's crazy. It's really just that simple, but it all starts with just making sure that you remove the expectations of others, because it's the expectations of others that doesn't allow you to think like this. It doesn't allow you to actually create timelines that work for you. You keep trying to rush everything because you're worried about what bum ass niggas think. But that's why they're bum ass niggas. Because the main reason why people are not exceptional is not because they can't be exceptional. It's because they just have horrible expectations and they listen to other people who have horrible expectations. So it's just an orgy of horrible expectations. And you're trying to get in that orgy too, which you shouldn't be. You need to break away from that shit as soon as possible, my nigga. That shit is fucking disgusting. So yeah, man, that's how I want you guys to move. Stop listening to the expectations of others. And the way you do that is by stopping caring. You can't give a fuck anymore. How do you do that? You make sure every single time you're making decisions, especially in regards specifically to the timelines you're creating for your goals, you're not creating that timeline because of what some specific person in your mind thinks. You have to be willing to disappoint them or you won't become anyone. You must disappoint them. You have to practice this. And every single time you're willing to disappoint somebody, you allow yourself to actually become the man that you want to be. So yeah, man, let me know how you guys felt about this. Does this make clear and obvious sense? Or you're like, okay, Ali, I'm not fucking rushing anymore. I'm setting better timelines so I can actually ensure that I become the man that I want to be. Because why else would I want to be on this planet if I can't become the man that I want to be and live up to my purpose and actually be able to achieve my goals, man? So yeah, so like the damn video so more guys can realize this and understand this shit. We can have more guys in the fam who are like, you know what, I'm not fucking rushing. I'm going to achieve my goals for sure because I actually give myself the fucking time I need to get the skills and abilities that I need to achieve that shit. And of course, subscribe too because I'm dropping heat like this every single fucking day, bro. I'm like Prime Jordan in this motherfucker. I'm like Cristiano Ronaldo in 2008 in this motherfucker with these videos I'll be dropping. So, of course, like and subscribe. More guys can see this shit. You'll see more vids like this. And with that being said, I'll catch you boys in the next YouTube video. Deuces.